by Bend.
You're right on time. You're not late. I know how it gets when I'm trying on clothes. Oh, a philosophy student in London. Awesome.
Mhm.
I have a friend in Sheffield. Oh, okay. I don't see Misty.
I don't either. Let me
She
just give
will
her a quick
be
note and see if she's having any kind of glitch to getting on.
Thomas from Living. Okay, at Crosslands. We got a lot of Colorado here. Beautiful. I'm in Atlanta myself, and it's hot here today. It's like 90 degrees.
Wow, that is hot.
Yeah.
Well, you know humidity too.
Yeah,
Yeah. You,
we have that here in Georgia.
mhm. We're here on the high desert, so it can be hot, but we don't have any humidity at all. So it's hot, but it's not that hot.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready.
Keep
Do you
going.
want to wait for Misty or we want to just
We'll let her in and let's
yeah.
get the party started. I texted just to make sure maybe something happened with the technology piece on her end. So let's just let her in when she comes and work her into the conversation. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, I'll toss it over to you, Janelle. We're just a bit of an outline for everybody. What we're going to do today is introduce each of ourselves, introduce the purpose. We will explain what spiritual gifts are, different types, how they might show up, give some clarity for that. And then we also have Q&A. The biggest portion is going to be Q&A to answer your questions, and then we'll close out. So I'll toss it to you, Janelle.
Got it. Thank you. It was so great to see all of you. Wow, how fun. So we were, Elmira and I were sitting down, we were having just a, hey, let's touch base and meet each other. And we're like, do you know, what do we face? Have you ever faced being the odd guy out, the odd person out? Have you experienced like you're the one that walks into a room and knows things before they're said, or had the feeling that something was up and just had no clue why you would even have that feeling, or go into a room and have complete overwhelm by everything that's coming at you. And because of that, we've all had our own experience, but because of that, some of us have had the question, well, if you're like me, I just shut it down. I didn't understand it. I felt so overwhelmed. I'm highly intuitive, highly empathic. And as I understand now, I am an energy healer. And my role now is I activate gifts for people and I explain gifts for people. But before I understood that, it was just overwhelm and I was scared of it. Nobody in my space was talking about it. So I just didn't even get what was going on. So all it meant was a lot of confusion and pain. So I shut that part of myself down as a coping skill until fast forward, I'm working with horses and they reactivate me. I was a horse trainer and they reactivated my gifts through helping them. They were outlaws, they were hurting. And when I'm getting them out of pain, they're helping me understand who I am and how I work. And that's over what, 25, 27 years ago now. And now it's just been a process of, okay, let's engage. So this conversation to get and engage in who I am and understand who I am. So this conversation today, I'm really excited about. It's very close to my heart and it's close to all of everybody here um, is exceptional. So it's close to my heart to be able to talk about how can it look and take a bridge from the pain side, however that's looked for you, and to bring some light and to say, or some ahas, oh my gosh, could this be me? Am I highly gifted? Am I an intuitive? Do I have spiritual gifts? And what could they be? So this discussion is just lighting me up. I'm so excited.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, Raven, I'll let you introduce yourself.
I just gotta stay quiet and let people talk and listen. Um, so I'm Raven. I have known that I am completely different and have not fit into this world since a child. My gifts were known to me even as a child. I was alone in it. My parents were gifted, my grandparents were gifted, but back in those days, you didn't go there. Like they were soaked in Christianity and whatever, and you just didn't go there. So I, they turned off for a while when I was a teenager, going through my 20s, and you just like living crazy life and going to college and doing all of those things. So they're kind of pushed to the background. But in the 30s, in my 30s, it's just started like, you can't put this in the background anymore. And so from then on, it's just been one crazy journey learning my entire life, this planet, past lives on other planets. Like, where do you want to go? So that's where I am at the moment.
I love that, Raven, because you were telling me about the Akashic records and all the things. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just amazing, and we'll get more into that. Well, everybody, I'm Elmira. I would say, like both of the other ladies, Jeanette, both Janelle and Raven, I knew I was different. I'm like, what's going on? How did I get in this family? of course, I got along with my siblings and everything, but I would spend a lot of time alone, and my gifting really showed up through feeling, like touch. That's how I became a massage therapist and did healing work, energy work, all kinds of stuff in that realm. Showed up in visions too. Just I was able to see things, I was able to communicate with the dead, just all kinds of stuff. I was not afraid of death. I even remember my grandmother when I was 11. I died. Well, she died when I was 11, and it just fascinated me. I'm like, oh, what is this world? Like, this is so amazing. This is just interesting. So for me, having this discussions is just helping people discover who you are too, because we are all gifted. We're all individuals. We all, and this theme has been coming up today is like, who am I? It came up in meditation this morning. I attend this artist morning thing on Fridays, and that's what his meditation was about. Like, who am I? And not hiding, not wanting to wear a mask. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Now we'll kind of talk about we kind of alluded to it, but what are some of these gifts? And I'll just, either of you can chime in. You can outline some of these gifts, what they may look like, what they look like for you, any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so interesting. They can be connected to one of our pain points. Like when I have really good hearing, like almost sensory overload hearing. And I'm not making fun of that. It's like real. And through the pain of working with that that feeling of hearing too much, I've realized that as I've understood myself and connected to that part of me, it's my one of my gifts. It's the place where my gifts are. So I can hear guidance. I can hear my guides. We can hear them, we can feel them, we can have knowings. And I think one of the things I'm learning is that underneath the place where the pain is, if I have an area that's really challenging, my auditory processing disorder, or I'm just very dyslexic, underneath and in the challenge space are my greatest gifts. So it's kind of like, okay, where do you look? Look where the pain is.
That could be true. I've had to I well, I call it shadow work, but
Mm.
I've gone deep down into the abyss to try to clear things out of my life that happened and um yeah, the darkness has to come with the light too. So I do a lot of that work with myself. I'm not afraid to go there and figure out why certain things are happening to me or experiences, anything in my past lives that I have to clear. I'm literally just like, whatever it is, good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, take me there because that's what I need to know. So I'm not afraid to go wherever that is that it takes me.
But what are some of the gifts? Let's put some names to them.
I'd
Names
say
to them.
psychic.
Oh, I'm psychic. I'm a medium. I'm a Akashic Records reader. I'm a Reiki master. I'm an energy psychologist. I can see, hear, touch, communicate with any being, whether it's universal or on this earth. So, yeah, and this when I meditate and make connections with these other, I always have dogs on my lap, you guys, by the way. Um, when I make connections and go to these places, and especially when I go astral projecting is another thing that I can do, and I go out through the universe, it's really hard for me to want to come back to Earth because this is a very hard place for me to live. Because I remember my past lives where it was utopian, it was an agreed system, there weren't people suffering, and all of these things that are going on. So I feel those things very deeply, and I feel that pressure that's going on in the earth very deeply and how bad the earth is even hurting. So I have to find ways to like not have that on my mind at a constant time because it would just crush me because it's just too much emotionally.
Yeah, so it's like you can feel it, right? Like
Yeah.
the earth. Like you can
Yeah.
really.
Yesterday we went, me and a couple friends, we went on a hike and it started out just beautiful day, gorgeous day, got tons of gorgeous pictures. We were in this gigantic poppy field, but we were going in to deal with some portals, and um, that was a very interesting day. So I'm a little bit tired today. So we had to clear some nasty spirits, and you could just pick up from everything going on that a lot of people go there to use drugs. There's been a lot of suicides there. There is what I would consider a soul collector there. Um, and we had to clear it and get rid of it and bless the land and do a bunch of work. And so that was a pretty remarkable thing that happened yesterday. It was quite insane, actually. But that was my day yesterday. Like, welcome to my crazy world. Yeah,
Mm. There's a lot of intuitive gifts. I remember when I was little, I could connect to animals, and it seems so normal. It seems so
yeah,
normal to be able to feel, know. It was a world of just communication through our fields, my energy field, their field, and we just understood each other, and I navigated so naturally there. And until I was an adult, I didn't realize that wasn't normal, right? That's just how it was. It was easy. um, I could feel what people felt without realizing I was feeling what they felt. So I tended to take on things that weren't mine. I think we often, as highly intuitive, highly empathic people, we can take on things that aren't ours without realizing it. And maybe you do, but I didn't realize I was. And so I was sitting there trying to sort through, oh my gosh, why am I so, I'm having all these feelings, and I was trying to battle and arm wrestle these feelings when I understand now they weren't even mine in the first place. So, but at the time before we know, this highly gifted being able to feel and know can have some impact on who we are and how we think we are, like what we're able to do,
yeah.
what we're not able to do.
It might not even be your own emotions that you're feeling. And it that takes a lot of practice to get that down. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so true because I can say many times I've felt that. Like I explained earlier, mine mainly shows up as feeling or having like these premonitions. So when I would do massage, I'm not really practicing massage right now, working with clients in that area. But I remember one time having this pain in my hip, like my thigh. I'm like, where did that all of a sudden come from? I was prepping for my day, getting dressed, doing my clothes and stuff. And then later, I did during my sessions that day, discovered that same pain in my client. I had never met that client before, but those types of things would happen to me all the time where I would feel somebody's headache or their menstrual cramps. It would just be, I'm like, wait a minute, it just came out of the blue. Where did this thing originate from? So for me, it was like, or I mentioned dreams too. This happened to me just this week. I had a dream about somebody from back home. So I live about 8 hours from my original home in Virginia. And I had a dream about them. The son, the son's wife, and the mom and the dad, all four of these individuals. And then in speaking to my sister later that day, she said the same family that I dreamed about sent her a video that day. Like, not even, they don't normally send her a video. I said, I just had a dream about them. And it's like, oh, okay. I've dreamed about people I didn't know who were dead, and they showed up to me in the dream and communicated a message to me. So it's been all kinds of ways the gifts may show up. And I think the biggest thing for what we're all saying is pay attention, listen, because it could seem strange, or is this mine? Does this belong to me? You're probably tuning in to somebody else's stuff.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was, yeah, this is awesome. So working with a gal, and her story was people love to be around her.
Oh,
Love
welcome,
to be.
Misty. I'm going to bring you down here. We're happy to have
Um,
you.
People love being around her and what was going on. But she would walk away feeling just saturated, like a dirty sponge. She said, oh my gosh, and it would take her 3 or 4 days to detox everything. But one of her intuitive gifts, one of her spiritual gifts is she's a transmuter. And a transmuting is the ability to shift one energy to another. That's a neutral term. When it's working as a spiritual gift, is changing negative energy to positive energy. And one of her many, we all have many, one of her many gifts was she is a transmuter. But that was one of her effects, and she used to just be so baffled, and people loved to be around her because they felt so good when they left. But it was her spiritual gift. Yeah. Misty, you should tell us about it. Yay! Misty's a master healer as well, many intuitive gifts. Um, Share us about yourself, just an introduction, a quick introduction.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I was late. Um, well, I do intuitive energy work, and I kind of couple that with graphic design. Um, I'm not really pinned down to one thing. I like to have my fingers in lots of things, and I like to interject energy work into all of them. So I've taken a number of energetic courses, and I just kind of blend them all together with my own gifts, and that's what comes out.
Yeah, we were just talking about too, Misty, how spiritual gifts present themselves. So I want to know from you, like, how did your like energy work and combining it with this graphic design, how did that originate?
Oh, I'm not sure I know exactly how it originated. I've always been really, really way closer with animals than people, for sure. um, there's honestly a number of spiritual gifts, and when they all kind of come up together, it can just look like such chaos. Trying to figure out what's what. Is that mine? What's coming online? Um, I can totally relate with being around people, being in large crowds, having just strangers come up and start like just talking to you randomly and or telling you their life story and whatever's going on. Just recognizing that you're holding that space and allowing them to feel safe enough to just verbally process whatever they need. But yes, feeling super saturated afterwards, and for the longest time I wasn't sure what was going on, why that was happening. um, some of my gifts that come out are very much like a clear knowing, and I think that for me has been really tough to lean into because I always think I'm just crazy with with that. Something will just pop into my head. I'm like, why did I think that? And, oh, I just made that up. And so, how that loop can go. Um, but with the graphic design, I put energy into the images and can pull together like a feeling that you're wanting for something. I can put that all together nicely. And so when you look at it, you're getting that feel. That's coming through, and I like to add extra energy into it, whatever you would need, for whoever it is. And I think that's just awesome because it's like an energy anchor. If it's something that you print off or whatever, it's like an energy anchor in your space that can like hold that frequency. So each time you look at it again, you're brought back to that space. And I just think that's awesome. I think maybe I've answered your question there.
Oh yeah, that was good. I was feeling it. I was because sometimes it may like with these giftings we're speaking of, we talked about transmuting, being psychic, Akashic records, intuition, like all of this stuff. It may seem sometimes that they don't connect, like
Yes.
how you've been able to connect the energy work with the graphic design. I've done similar things because I feel like I got so much going on. It's like all of these gifts. How do I put them in a magic ball or something? But to me, that comes with knowing who you are. Like, how do you combine all of this stuff together? Like, for me, my music, my massage therapy, energy work, I help people recover from grief and heartbreak and understanding the dead and the dying and all of those things. It's like, how do I do this? Because it's an image just came to mind for me is like Christmas gifts. If we have all of these gifts, I actually want more gifts. I'm thinking back to when I was a child. I didn't just want one thing. Don't just give me the
No.
doll. I want I had 10 items on my wish list for my gifts. So with our spiritual gifts, we've been given multiple things for a reason to use them, just like under the Christmas tree. That image just clearly popped in my head. It was like, yes, I want them all. I want
Yeah.
all the gifts.
I never stopped learning. I never stopped delving into things, different things, because there are so many things out there that we have yet to understand. And I want to know it all. Yeah. I'm just like you. Like, give Give me all the information. I want to know it all.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface, right? It
Yeah.
just feels like we're just starting to understand, and yet there's so much. And in the beginning, it can feel so, it can be like, oh my gosh, this is not a gift at all. I remember those feelings, like this is not a gift at all. And what bridges us from that feeling is like Elmira and we've been saying, it's knowing, well, what is it? That's one. Two, they can absorb, and these gifts have history. They have a history in this lifetime, and they can have histories in past lifetimes and family in your epigenetics and your genetics and or energy history. So because of that, we can come to this planet with some heaviness or a lot of heaviness around the gifts. And it's lowing. How do you clear that? So one, working with people that you resonate. Healing is a team sport. We were talking, the group of us the other day, healing is a team sport. So getting in and working with people to understand who you are, one of the steps, clearing the things that are meant to clear so that when you clear out the dirt, the water, you can see the bottom of the lake, right? You get clarity. So part of understanding who we are is clearing any kind of residue that's in us. While we do that, then we get to see how the gift works. The dirt's there on purpose, my friends. As we learn to clear our own energy and we go through those steps, however that needs to look for you, it's so individual and unique that we learn how we work. How do I work as a healer? You learn by healing,
Yeah.
starting with self, right? Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you don't have a good sense of yourself and love for yourself and respect in those boundaries that you put up so that you don't let bad people in your life and those kinds of things, yeah, you've got to know yourself and you've got to be able to go wherever it takes you to get to yourself. Sometimes that means I call it burning down the house. I had to do that. I had to get rid of everybody in my life at one point because they were no longer good for me. That was no longer good for me. I was shifting out of that and moving into other things. Was it like I still talk to some of them, but they're not like an active participant in my life.
Yeah.
So it's hard, and you got to be willing to do the hard stuff to get there.
I have a question that I was thinking about. One is there a way of making this more dialogical or more conversant than between the three people or four people that have been talking and the way of bringing others into this conversation?
Do you have a question?
Yes, go ahead and
You
ask.
love questions or an experience to share.
Um, I've done a lot of teaching of gifts, particularly in England, where I went from Quaker meeting to Quaker meeting and was very intentional about bringing out gifts in individuals. And I was doing that because I believed that our gifts bring us a wholeness. We need each other in this work, and feeling that in order to have that, we really need to share with one another in the communities that the Quaker meetings are. Um, so that's one point that I would make in my work that I've done. And I was attracted to this as a discussion on spiritual gifts and from our own, and I'm thankful that it has our own focus in this manner.
Very good. Thank you, Thomas. I know you got a lot to share. So you said you had lots of experience, and that's what this discussion is. We decided to bring this together to field any questions, give people clarity on their specific gifts, how might that show up, give guidance and everything of that realm. So Thomas let us off. Does anybody else have a question or something you want to discuss? And the question could come from the panelists today. It could come from anybody in the audience. Feel
Mhm.
free to pose your question. Something you've always been curious about, something you've ever always wondered.
I have a question for you. And you're talking about how you would feel things from your clients and not realize that you were having a feeling before you even met them. Do you find that in your practice, you need to sometimes kind of protect yourself from becoming too absorbed in someone else's feelings?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll lead that off and just say, yes, I had to learn to ground myself and do some different releases, especially I was touching people, just everybody, literally. And so grounding was very big for me, like understanding what was mine, doing those releases at the end of the day or the beginning of the day to separate. And I became, and still to this day, I'm really good at that, understanding, standing my ground. You have to be firm. You know, we know about the root chakra, sacral chakra. You have to be firm in that, in your own body. We were mentioning it early before, knowing yourself. And so,
Yeah.
yes, that's my ultimate answer.
Mhm. Yeah.
I've felt people um, that something tragic was going to happen that day, and then it happened. As a medium, I get a lot of suicides, and I was driving to work. I worked outside of the home at the time, and this song that obscure song that never plays on the radio anywhere else, and like hardly ever anymore because it's from the 80s, but it's about suicide, and it came on, and I was, and then like every hair on my body was just stand like, oh, this is bad. And I, I went to lunch later that day, and when I came driving back down the road at the same place that this song came on, there was a gal, and she was transgender, but she had stood hidden in along the highway, and these are like the highway has a lot of dump trucks running constantly with gravel. I mean, we're talking 70 mile an hour people driving down this highway, and she hid and she stepped in front of one of those trucks and killed herself. And when I came back from lunch, just from working in the medical field too, I know when fire trucks and ambulances are like completely surrounding something so you cannot see, I'm like, oh, there's like body parts everywhere. That's just the way it goes. And not that I'm speaking about it frankly like it doesn't matter, but that's just how they handle the situation. And I could feel her instantly. And she came to me instantly. And I had to basically kill off the male side of her that was killing her because in her mind she was female. And it tortured her that bad that she took her life like that. So I've had things like that happen to me where I'm like, I know something's going to go down today. Just when is it going to happen? Yeah.
Yeah. I like a really good clearing routine because we are to really operate as we're, when we really step into understanding and owning these gifts, a good routine is we need one because we are going to absorb. That's part of our giftedness.
Yeah.
So it's part of how we know, like what Raven's sharing. It was how you know she had a knowing, so she touched it, so she has that energy in her space, and it's not there to stay. It's not yours. It's not ours. So how do you? What works for you to get rid of that. So finding your system that helps you clear your grounding system, your recharge system. Um, yeah.
Yeah, because I felt all of her pain. I felt all of that as I was doing this ritual, if that's what you want to call it. It wasn't really a ritual, but I was doing what needed to be done so that she could be released and not feel pain anymore and cross over and go on to whatever the next thing was for her. And then I had to clear myself of all of that because it wasn't my pain, it was hers. But yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Who has gifts here? Who's been wondering? The whole title was, did you ever wonder? In the chat, just go, yes, yes, I have something. Um, let's just see where y'all are at. Yeah, Maudie, yeah. Yeah, okay. So just jump in. What are you aware of? Are you psychic? Do you feel things? Do you hear things? Do you know things?
There's somebody in Olivia that asked a question in the chat.
Thank
How do
you.
you distinguish yourself grounding yourself versus self-care? It's part of the same thing. So you need to do self-care and self-love and put boundaries around yourself and boundaries around your life and have that self-respect for yourself. But getting out and grounding yourself is the way to heal yourself and bring yourself back from whatever you just had to take care of or endure. That's the best way I can answer that question, Olivia.
Have you ever not listened to your intuition? Oh my goodness, it's part of the journey. Not listening to your intuition is part of figuring out how it works. I know there's some guilt and shame. Oh my gosh, why didn't I listen to it again? And here I am. What the heck? Except I didn't say heck, but we're in public, so I'm being nice. It's just like, seriously. So, but that's part of the journey work. Part of learning who we are as intuitives, as spiritually gifted, is bumping around against things, not hearing it, or knowing I heard it but didn't listen to it. In the choice not to listen to it is showing me what's ready to be healed or understood about myself. The guilt and shame will mask it, and we won't explore or be tempted because we're like, oh my gosh, I did it again. So we can replace, oh my gosh, I did it again with, oh, there's something right there. Guidance uses these moments, the pain points, the moments I didn't listen, I self-sabotaged again, what the heck, to draw our attention to a space and take a deeper dive into that space to learn a new thing about who we are and or what's ready to be released. So those pain points are such beautiful guiding moments. And sometimes we're too close to it. So if you're like, I don't even know if if I am anymore, then sometimes oh, me all the time, by the way, I'm too close to my own stuff. And that's why I said earlier that healing and learning about ourselves is a team sport, because I can't see my own stuff sometimes. And I need somebody, I need you. You guys need somebody to help look in. I need somebody to help look in and help me see what I'm just blind to see myself.
Yeah. I always have, I'm very blunt and truthful with people, obviously not in a rude way, but I expect everybody to be that way with me too, because sometimes there's things about you that's going on that you're not seeing, but your friend is seeing it. And so they're telling you about it. And it's like, I appreciate that so much from my friends to say, whoa, hey, like this is going on with you and you need to pay attention to what's going on here. Yeah.
Yeah. We have another clairvoyant and medium in the house. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Awesome. Sound voice healer. Cool. Isn't it fun when you get to hear there's so many different types of gifts and what you guys shared with us? Thank you. That's just brilliant. They're not here on accident. The gifts are not here on accident.
I want to know how Stephanie does this sound voice healing. That's awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Stephanie, turn on your microphone. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, sorry, what was your question?
I want to know how you do the sound voice healing.
Well, I work as a psychotherapist, and sometimes I do energy healing work with my clients. So that may involve things like sound bowls or meditation. I'm also a singer, so I've always kind of used my voice to aid in the healing process, either through poetry or song. Um, so that's kind of how I'm kind of I don't know what a good term, like a kitchen witch kind of thing. Like I've always been very deeply intuitive, and I gravitate to so many things naturally. Um, and I haven't had any official training. I grew up in the church, so a lot of my gifts were seen as, if it didn't fit a description of how the church sees these types of things, then it was not really something that was encouraged for me to pursue. But it's always been pretty intuitive for me to kind of gravitate to them, to any type of healing practice. So yeah, it's been a bit isolating. My sister is quite intuitive, so we get together and talk a lot, and connect on it. But I don't have a whole lot of community outside of her.
Do you um can you hear frequencies of plants and animals? Can you hear their actual frequency?
You know, I don't I don't know. I hear frequency all the time. It's
Ah,
sometimes I hear it in like songs, just
yeah.
tunes. I just thought it started just coming from the wind. There'd just be like this melodic tones that I would constantly hear, and I still really can't place where it's from. I just know that I hear it all the
Ah.
time.
Sorry, I was like picking up that your frequency. You can hear frequencies. I can hear frequencies too. So I
Huh.
bet if you started to practice it and
Mhm.
just like hold a flower in your hand and like focus on hearing it instead of seeing it, you would hear those frequencies. I bet you could do that.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. I'll stop now.
You actually brought up a good thing there, Raven, because this is a question to ask everybody, and any guest here can answer too. How do we practice these gifts? Because you just said frequency and then practice hearing it. How do we practice? Because I know how to practice my trumpet. I know how to practice dance. I know how to practice. I'm a singer too, Stephanie. I know how to practice that, but how do I practice some of these other gifts?
You have to be quiet. Like not necessarily in a meditative state, but if you're going out in nature to try to hear the frequencies or of an animal, anything around you resonates frequency. So you have to learn to quiet your mind. And that is very hard to do in this world because it is a very loud place. It is a very fast paced place. And so that's the practice. You have to quiet your mind, literally tune your mind, your whole energy into that thing and start listening to it because it's not going to be loud. Like on my thing that I was talking about, I did yesterday, I was making a connection with those poppy flowers that I was holding, and I could hear their frequency. And so I was humming that same frequency back to them. And then a whole bunch of bees came and they were like, "Oh, I like you too." And then they got in on it. So everything emits its own frequency, even people. If you're at a very low vibration in your life, your frequency is going to be a lot lower. Once you start raising your vibrations and your energy and being in more positive spaces, your frequency rises. So it changes.
Yeah, practicing it, where it shows up for you. Putting your hands on things, sitting with animals. I learned mine, like I shared with you guys, it woke up when I started working with horses and healing horses. So being in the place, where does it show up for you? Is it with the trees? Is it with animals? Is it on the ground? Is it you don't know? Then those are great questions to figure out. Where does it work and sit there in that space? Like Raven said, feel it, hear it, know it. And people kind of get, I have run into this, that we can look at somebody else and think, well, that's how it's supposed to look. I want to encourage all of us to say, no, you're unique. It's going to look like you. There's going to be some similarities here and there, but you're unique, and how it's designed to look is unique to you. Just like we all have different faces when we look at each other on the Zoom call, we will all have different ways we do. Maybe there's several mediums here. I'm a medium too. How does mine work? How does Raven's work? And the others of us on this that are mediums, there's a difference in them, even though we're all the same thing. So being open that yours will be unique to you. There's a place for all of us. I am gifted. I can draw and I can dance and I love to sing and ride horses. There you go. That's me in a nutshell. And put me in the mountains and I'm happy. So but there's a place for all of us. Nobody's gifts are better or more useful than anybody else's. Like there isn't a hierarchy here. In the collective, you were giving, all of us have been given gifts totally on purpose so that you can have your physical gifts, but you can also have your energy gifts that complement who you are as an individual. So being able, and that then connects into the collective, which means we synergize together, which I think is phenomenal. When we step into that most authentic part of us, there is no fight to the top. There isn't, because we're all important and equally so, equally valuable, equally important at this time right now.
I tell people a lot on reels I make or podcasts I do, whatever. Like you are part of a conscious collective. You can either choose to be part of the negative conscious collective or the positive. You don't even need to know that that other person exists. They are just there. It's like a giant spider web linking us all together. And whether you realize what somebody across the world is doing to put into that collective consciousness, you're still adding to it and you're still connected to it. So that makes it huge. And I don't care where you come from, what status you have in life, everybody has gifts. Everybody. And you can tap into that consciousness. And because it is a collective consciousness, it can help heal you as well.
I have a direct question for you, Misty, but before I get to that, I want to answer the question in the chat about the vibration frequency meditations on YouTube. I'm all yes for it. Because for me, and Misty replied to this too, if it resonates with you, do it. I can feel the difference. For me, when I listen to this frequency or this meditation, I can feel it in my body. Like I said, we all do. We feel things, like I might feel it in my head, or I might feel something different going on with my heart, or I can like feel my blood. And so like for me, it's there, it works. And I'll listen to some that say, oh, this helps with fat loss, because it's all frequency. I can tap into any particular thousands of these frequencies out, just like Raven was saying, with the tuning in and practicing listening to a specific flower. That one has a different frequency than the other one. Okay, here's the question for you, Misty. I saw a couple of your videos, and one of the things that I like is you're like super fun. And a lot of times when we talk about these spiritual gifts, it's like it's drab, or somebody's like, oh, you got to be mellow and solemn and all of that. How did you implement like this fun aspect? Like, talk about that. Because some people think personality, like you want to have, like, just tell us.
Oh Oh, thank you very much. No, that's just me. That is just how I am. That that's just part of my personality. Like for example, like shielding and stuff. You know, I will absorb lots and lots of stuff from other people, even online and stuff. I will absorb that. And I have found for myself, the more shielding I try to do, the more protecting my own energy I try to do, the like more it affects me. So for me, I come at it from a space of I'm good. Everything's awesome. I don't need to worry about this. And then I'm good. I'm okay. So I think just looking back at that, I think I was shielding from a space of fear.
Mm.
You know, like try to keep everything out, which of course just, you know, let it come in even bigger. But yes, and I think that's not the norm, you know, for most people. Most people are like, hey, let's shield, let's shield. And it's completely the opposite for me.
I don't, well, I shield myself from other energies because I'm such a strong empath. So, like, I don't even like to go to the grocery store because it's just like, ugh, okay. But other than that, I'm just like, bring it on. I want to know about it. Yeah.
Yep, I'm one of those weirdos that when I go to the store or wherever, I am smiling. I am just like, people look at me like I'm retarded. They're just like, what is wrong with you?
I know. Yeah. That's the good part. Like, I I always say I'm the weirdo, but if you literally look up the definition of weird, it's like being in a different godly state in the ancient terms of weird. I'm like, yeah, like I'm weird. And people do look at me when I walk in a store because they can feel my energy as soon as I walk in there and they're like, kind of, like who is this? And I can feel them look at me, but I just have to tune it out because I just have to be me. And that's just the way it is. And if you don't like me, then you don't have to be around me. I don't take it as an insult. I'm just like, okay, we don't mesh together. Cool. Yeah.
I need to make a statement, not a statement, but saying I need to withdraw right now to go to dinner, which is being served now in the dining room. And I'd love to continue. And if someone would write to me where this ends up, I would very much appreciate that. And my email is available from somebody. So if you would do that, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. Does somebody
Yes.
come? Okay.
Yeah, everybody
Absolutely.
will be receiving a replay too. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you,
You're,
Thomas.
you
Thanks,
Good to
Thomas.
have you here.
thank you.
I wanted to talk about, oh, I'm different by two chains. Oh. No, but that's what I was going to talk about because we mentioned it earlier how these giftings, like being highly intuitive, whatever the gift is, you feel alone or you feel different or you feel like when you walk in the grocery store, why is everybody looking at me? Like, what's going on? How do we handle the solitude? Because I know for me, at first, I used to get upset. I used to get angry and say, why don't people understand? Why don't they see what I see? Or why don't they comprehend what? And then I learned, okay, this is maybe just something you're seeing, Elmira. And I no longer got upset and angry, but it used to frustrate the heck out of me, just feeling like I was alone.
But as people get older too, at least I've noticed, as people get older, you start to care less and less about what people think about you and you just want to do your thing. Like when you're younger, you want to impress people and you're still developing that self-esteem and figuring out who you are and trying to please people. And the older you get, you're like, I'm going to please myself, period.
And the
Everybody listen to your grandmas and listen to their wisdom.
And just knowing how we work, I have found that one of the most freeing things. It's like, oh my gosh, this is just how it works. Okay, okay, yeah. And finding community. Like, look at all of us here. We're here on a theme, and we all said, yeah, I've got something here, and I've got this bit of understanding, and yeah, you do, and we believe you. And
Yeah.
just having community is so important, and to be able to talk about, okay, here's my story, and the people around you are going to go, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. That's
Yeah,
huge.
it is huge. Massively huge. And anybody can, I'll put my links and stuff in the chat later, but anybody can email me, message me on social media, anything with any kind of questions they have about anything. I will answer them. Like, I'm not charging you to ask a question because you have something going on in your life. Like, I will be there for you. Yeah. Build that community even bigger.
Another question. I'm full of questions. I'm like Miss Curiosity. Like this, I'm like a little kid. I love questions. But the other question that just came up to me is, does anybody, this is for the panel, this is for people in the room too, do you feel weird charging? Good, you just made me think about it, Raven, charging for your gifts. You know you're an
No,
empath, you know you're a medium, you know you do this. Do you feel weird
I
charging for it? Should we make money? Should I like that discussion?
everybody has to live. I do charge for my services. I didn't create this money greed system on this planet, but I have to participate in it. But on the flip side of that, if I know that somebody desperately needs my help, I have traded things with people. Like sometimes people have just brought me a couple things of groceries. Sometimes I've just done it for free because they desperately need the help. So if that's the case, I'm willing to help you no matter what.
I see it as an energy exchange. There's something powerful about an energy exchange. And when I've
Yeah.
been walking my personal healing journey, I found the potency when I valued with an energy exchange. So whether it was a trade or,
Mhm.
but money means something. Um, I've done a lot of work around money.
Yeah. I've had to do that
There's a
too.
lot of
Yeah.
energy in that space. So I've done a lot of work around that. But I think I do see the principle of the power of an energy exchange
Yeah.
for
And I
helping
had to
us.
turn it around for money because I do have like an aversion to money that I'm still working on. My one business partner is a hypnotist. So I had her put me under actually last week and we were working on this. And because money to me is like dirty, it's nasty, it's greedy. And the people that have it and just never seems to be enough in those kinds of thoughts. And I had to flip it in my head to say, okay, bring me the biggest pile of nastiest money ever in the world. What however that person got it, then it will be blessed, it will be filled with love, and then I'm sending it back out there in the world because I don't need all that money. And that's how I had to like get myself to accept money because I don't like the way things work on this planet. So that was very hard for me. So I had to go through a hypnotherapy session just to like get to that point where I can turn this into love.
Yeah.
And the bigger my business grows, like my long-term goals in life are literally like, why is that building empty? Go get a construction team, hire them right now, get them in there, get these homeless people off the street, get them food. Like those are the things that's like my greater goals in life. So I am focused on the money because it's not for me. I want to put it back out there to everybody that doesn't have it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I feel that. I
Yeah.
feel that. Because I had to do just like you, Raven, work and still doing work on my relationship with money. Like, what does it look like? I had to like fall in love with it. And doing one meditation, I was working with this energy healer, and she had us visualize, and in that moment, money showed up for me as a yellow M&M. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so tasty. I had never seen it sweet and tasty before. So it was like, yes, this is what I want. This is
Yeah.
what I want. And I deserve to be, compensated. That energy exchange
Mhm.
for these gifts, for because some things I don't see as a gift is a gift of mine. This, even this form right here, this has happened to me many, many times. When people get in my presence, they want to do stuff. They want to put together a thing, like do a brainstorm, or let's do a group. I'm like, all right, let's do the group. And then I end up being the glue, like the glue for the group. And I'm like, it happens in my family. It happens. So I come to see that as a gift, but then I didn't want to charge for it either. Like, because I lead masterminds and stuff like that. But that glue is necessary.
Yeah. And people also need to remember that when ex we can get knocked out for a while doing energy work. Like I'm extremely tired right now from what I did yesterday. Sometimes I need to go to the metaphysical store and get things to help heal me. And sometimes I need to call on a friend to heal me, or I have to hire someone to heal me because it's been that intense. So it's not just like we're charging for no reason. We have to take care of ourselves and our health as well.
Money wounds. I'm wondering, money wounds and feelings and wounds of, am I worthy? Am I enough?
Mhm.
When I say you'll work with me and it's going to be X, if that causes a hesitation in me, is it coming from things? These things have roots. And as intuitives, I think let's take a look and just talk about roots, because roots will manifest as something out over here. So if I'm struggling to say, yes, this is worth X, it's also saying I'm worth X. And why am I even pausing on that number? What in there is really ready to be seen and or healed? Am I worthy? Well, heck yeah, you're worthy. What's that even? But digging into that spot and taking a look at, okay, worthiness. Where do I have shame? Where did that guilt come from? So many things that motivate um, or unmotivate, but that manifest as putting out there, shining our lights, feeling like I have a voice. That's all connected. And it's can be found in the root of shame. I've been ashamed or felt so guilty about something. And healing it, that's in that space to shift that.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a song, Worthy by Yeah, yeah. You've got some good songs, Olivia.
We
Woohoo!
need Olivia's playlist.
I know,
This
and I'm
is
just
awesome.
catching this. Like that's great.
I said she's a
Thing.
jukebox.
I
Truly,
love
I have a song for everything. Any word comes up, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of.
that is a gift in
Awesome.
itself, you know. That is a gift.
Oh, I did want to just bring up just like a little reminder, or gentle reminder to ourselves that a lot of times these sort of things, these limiting beliefs that come up, quite often they come up like an onion. You know what I mean? It's in layers. So you have healed, cleared a layer. Don't get discouraged if when that comes back up again, because it's just a deeper layer. Quite often it's not a one and done sort of thing. It sure can be. Um, but I have noticed, at least personally for me, a lot of times it's like an onion. You peel back the layers and you're gonna probably revisit that again. So
Yeah.
it's not that you're doing anything wrong there. So
Good
Yeah,
point, Steve. Mhm.
very good point.
Yeah, because I've noticed that with my money stuff or any stuff. It could
Any
be
stuff.
abandonment, it could be anything. It's like presenting me with this again. Like I have to deal with this again. Like, because I help clients with their relationships and the breakup grief. And so that comes up. I've been really good at that because it's presented itself in my life over and over again. How to move on after a breakup, after a loss. And I've been able to do it. And it's part of my purpose because sometimes I'm still peeling back the onion on that grief space myself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm still dealing with tons of grief just from losing my mom a year and a half ago. Some days I'm fine, and yes, she's with me, but I keep sending her away to keep getting healed because when she died, she was not in a good place, and I don't want her to get stuck there. Um, but some days I'm fine, and then other days I'm just bawling my eyes out because I miss her to death, even though even if you're a medium and you can still see them and talk to them, they're still not, it's not the same. It's still a shift and a loss, and they're not in your like physical presence anymore. So I don't think that ever goes away. Like it just gets smaller.
Mhm.
Oh,
Good.
do any of you guys, I experience this quite a bit. Um, I have the all or nothing thing. I will go really, really hard on pretty much everything I do. And I don't recognize that I have overdone it till you're at that burnout stage and you're like just fried, totally fried. Um, but that's kind of I've also recognized that as that's kind of how I work. I go fast and hard, and and then I have a little bit of a recharge, and then it continues. But that kind of tends to be my natural space. Does everybody else do that, or do you pace yourself better?
Well, I'm always into something, working on something or studying history because I'm just obsessed with history, but it happens to me more with pain because I'm such a strong empath. When I'm being put through pain for an extremely long period of time, then it turns to anger. And I actually had my astrology chart read by my friend in Scotland. He's amazing. But I was in my soul contracts, which if you guys don't know what that is in here, if you get your Akashic records read, you make a soul contract to come to this life, saying, will go to this life and I will put up with this and this and this and have this and whatever. You can change your soul contract as you go through life and add things to it. It's not set in stone. Your future is always can change. But I purposely put myself born on an Aries cardinal blood red moon. So I'm a Libra by zodiac sign. So I like my peace and quiet and balance and art and beauty and all of those Libra things. But once I get to that point where there's just been so much pain and it's not releasing, I get to a point of anger. And that's not a good place for me to be. It's not a good place for anybody to be. So I I have to remind myself to seek out help before it gets to that point. And if I don't have like a friend that can help me with it, I'm calling on my guides, I'm calling on the universe, I'm calling on angels. Like I'm in trouble here. Like I literally say empath down. Like I am down. Yeah.
Mhm. I feel it in the changes of the barometric pressure and the solar flares. And it's interesting how outside influence and energy fluctuations enhance what we can do, like some full moons, yeehaw, build it, baby, and build it fast. There's some full moons, like take me out, and it's like, where's Janelle? She's under the table, you know? Why? She's just out. She's done. So depending on where it's happening around us, I have noticed that influences my how I feel and how well and what's going on. And I've decided that like my current theory on that is based on who we are in our gift space, that we're going to be more sensitive to some things than others. Sometimes we're working within ourselves to heal, and sometimes our energy is healing for the collective. So we think, why am I being taken out right now? Something to do with the everything's frequency. And this is, I know Myra mentioned it, Misty and Raven, you guys mentioned it as well, that everything is frequency and we work within frequencies. It's a frequency awareness and all of our senses of what are allowing us to pick up on this in all these different cool ways. So the frequencies and the shifts in the moon and the frequencies and shifts in the sun flares and the different influences like that will affect us. And I thought, okay, there's some intentions we can set, because gifts we can operate through intention. One of the ways they operate. So if I set the intention when a full moon comes through and I'm feeling that it's pile driving me into the bottom of the ocean, I can set the intention to ride that wave like a boss. Like, let's ride and surf the tunnel. But I can set, and so instead of that energy pile driving me, I can surf it. I can set the intention to, oh my gosh, I've really got some deep clearing to do. Let's let that energy of the now, whatever that is, let's really channel that and let's really get down deep and, clear and then charge that part of me up. So there's different rhythms, and it's going to be based on, the way we're built. It's going to look a little bit different for all of us. But one, know your rhythm. Missy's got mentioned her rhythm. Raven, you mentioned your rhythm. Like there's a rhythm here, what's working for us. And with these different influences that are around us, kind of tapping in and going, okay, what and how does that influence me? And through intention, how can I channel that? What do I want? Do I want to surf that baby, or do I want to get down and do some dirty work? Let's clean this. Let's clean this down to the bottom of the ship. Let's get in there and clean.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't be, like I said, you can't be scared to go there, no matter
Mm-mm.
what it is. Like I've called on Thoth to take me into the underworld and take me on a journey there so that I can clear a lot of things. Like I go through the universe to go astral projecting, to go places to get healing and cleansing. And yeah, I guess, strange enough, what life has put me through, especially through the last decade. I really don't know how I'm still alive right now because of what I've been through. But because of that, I'm like, I'm pretty much not scared of anything now. I'm just like, let's go. Take me there, whatever it is.
You're like, I just saw this picture, 8 seconds on a ball. 8 seconds, go.
Yeah.
Not afraid of anything. 8 seconds, take it.
Yep. It's like you can't do anything worse to me than what you put me through for the last decade. Like, let's go there. Yeah.
Yeah, that it brings up a point, and I'll get to Maya there. When you start understanding your gifts and the spirit and the energy and the frequency and all of that things, for me, I'm not afraid of anything. Like, it's like, I've already seen it.
Mhm.
I've gotten some intuitive hit, or this, I know this is coming, or
You're bumping
whatever.
into other lives.
Yeah, yeah.
You are. I bump into my other lives a lot. Like I'm actually writing my next podcast about this. But that's one of the things that's a clear pointer that you're bumping into your other lives, because time is not linear, like past, present, future. It's all
And
flowing
I feel
all at
that.
the same time. Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, I feel like I've lived like 30 lives, and I go back and I
Hmm.
see all this stuff, and it's like, Okay,
Oh,
you can open up your mic. Let us know what your question is.
Yeah, so I know earlier in the chat, I believe it was Raven that was mentioning going through a period of having to let a lot of people go and stuff like that. And that's definitely kind of where I'm at right now of coming into terms with my gifts and also shedding a lot of old people from my past that mirror more of what I'm leaving behind. So I wanted to just ask, like, if any of you guys had feedback or advice for someone that's kind of in the beginning stages of learning about all of that and also doing their own shadow work, healing work, and having to navigate that kind of grief of leaving old friends behind and distancing yourself from just old people in general.
you have to remind yourself that, like that saying, when one door closes, another one is opening. So when I cleared my life of all of those people, and one of them was my best friend. She's still in my life, but we're just we're talking, but we don't really have that relationship anymore. So that one was really hard. But you have, and then I had to just put out there to the universe, like, I need people to come into my life that's going to help me. That's what I need right now. And you'll find that even the places that you want to go, the things that entertain you, any of those things are going to start to change too. So, like in my younger days, I love heavy metal, and we used to go to a lot of heavy metal concerts, me and my bestie. Like, I love to rock out. I love all kinds of music, but um I can't stand to go to those concerts anymore because I can't stand the energy that's there anymore. Um, it's not a good, and not that the music isn't good and not that the concert isn't good, but when you have a bunch of people that are fueled with alcohol and are getting very aggressive, and you already know as a female that you need to stick with your group and not ever leave your group and just things like that for safety, like, I don't want to be part of that anymore. So things will change like that in your life too, even down to what you want to eat, because you're raising your vibrations. You want your body to be healthy. Like, there's gonna be a lot of changes that you'll experience, Maya. A lot.
Yeah, the last person that left my life was also my ex-best friend now. That was fairly recent. So it's definitely been like a lot of major transitions.
Yeah. And you just have to say, okay, this person, like, this is not working for me anymore, but bring me that person that is going to work for me. And just know that that's going to happen, because everything that's supposed to be yours will be yours, and those people will come into your life. Just like I met Janelle randomly, I met Elmira randomly, I've met Misty before randomly, and we still communicate. We might not live near each other, but they're still in my life. And then I've gotten other friends that have come physically into my life to make my life better. So you just have to have that faith, I guess, that the good things are going to come, because that you're setting your intention that this is where I want my life to go, and this is the kind of things I want in it.
I think
Yeah,
you
thank you.
definitely have to give yourself grace for sure,
Yeah.
because and it's very personal. You know what I mean? It's going to look different for everybody. It's however you work through that, but also realize that there's going to be grieving, there's going to be anger, and all of those emotions are totally valid and perfectly fine to feel. Don't stuff them down, allow yourself to feel them. The quickest way is straight through that and getting comfortable in that void, because that's exactly what it's going to feel like as those things are taken out. There's like a empty feeling, and realizing that what as you're moving to that next thing, it's never worse. It's scary, But once you got to that point, you're never looking back thinking, oh man, I really wish I was back there.
Yeah.
Having that perspective to see that or have faith in that it'll be okay. It's kind of rough right now, but it will be okay.
So true. Because I can say that happened with my family. Like my family, church, everything. The list can go on. That's why I help people with the breakups because I've had so many breakups. I had to break up with my group. I had to break up. I learned how to navigate the grief because that's exactly what it is. Like you're saying, Misty, it's grief. It's knowing there's a sadness, there's a loss. But one thing I've understood about grief is it's just love on the flip side. It gets like grief gets this bad rep, but it was really love wrapped in a different package. So when you reframe it that way and say, like, this is going to be better, because you're right, it never is worse. Like where I am right now, I'm in a better place. I had to go through the breakup years ago to get in my current relationship, or I'm living in a totally different state than my family. But if I was so stuck on, I can't let these people go, I wouldn't have all these other types of love. I wouldn't have met Janelle or Raven or Missy or anybody in this room right now, Dustin, Olivia, Maya. Like, I wouldn't know y'all because I would have held so strong to the old version of me. But knowing that there's something, it's just love, it's going towards love. And sometimes you got to break through that like weird, icky stuff.
Yeah.
And you're discovering, Maya, you said you're also discovering your gifts. Is that part of this?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, those tend to go together. When we're shifting out of one space, that shifting has to do with who we are becoming in our spiritual gifts as well. I was in a real religious space and I knew I was intuitive. I was working with these horses. I got all these activations and I'm like, no, this is who I am. I have to be this. And everything in me shook because to take the step out and say, this is who I am, meant I literally will lose everything I know. And I shook in every cell. And so that it's so real. Everybody's saying it. It's so real. And it's part of that birthing into who we're really designed to be. They tend to go together.
Yeah. You just have to trust the course, which is hard. It took me a long time to let go of, and I'm still working on it, definitely, to let go of trying to control everything and overthink everything and the situation is going on and what am I going to do about it? We got to get out of that frenzy and that fear and just like trust that the universe has got me. This is going to work itself out. I got to be quiet and I got to listen to what I'm supposed to be doing instead of getting completely worked up about it to where I can't even focus anymore. So I've had to work on that a lot. Yeah.
Well, we're almost at the top of the hour, which is the end of our time. Ladies, feel free to put your information in the chat because I know people want to reach out to us. If there are anybody else got a question, a comment, anything you wish to share, let us know.
There's my information, social media, email, YouTube. I have a ton of videos on YouTube. So reach out with any questions you ever have. And if anybody knows anybody that just needs help and they don't have the money, you can reach out to any of us and say, "Can you help me?" And I'm sure I can't speak for the rest of them, but I'm sure that Misty, Janelle, and Myra, like we would all step in and say, "Yeah, what do you need? Let's do this. Let's help."
Yeah. I'm going to put my info in the chat here as well if you're curious about how your gifts work for you. Is it a gift activation? Is it, man, goodness, I don't even know what my gifts are. I think I know, but you want clarity. One of my jobs on the planet is to see those gifts and just explain, not take your power away. That's your job is to explore those, but to facilitate the discovery of them. That's what I do. So would love to sit down and have a chat and just explore and take a look. And if you're curious, we can just jump on a call and say, hey, let's take a look. How could this look for you? You guys are all amazing. And the fact you're here and you're discovering and you're asking the questions, it means you're in the right place. You are being guided and you are on the road to discovering these, which I'm excited. I'm excited for you.
And since everybody works differently within their gifts and they have different gifts and different specialities, pick the person, like feel it out and pick the person that you feel that's my vibe and that's who you go with.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an excellent point because we all know, like we know, even with deciding to come to this event, it was something that sparked you that said, that. So you trusted your inner guidance. And that's what I do all the time and say, oh, I think I should go over there, or I think I should meet this person. I think I should talk to this. That's how I met Janelle. That's how I met Raven. Like, true story.
Yeah.
That was and there because we are all on this site called Heal List, so you can look us up
there too.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just go with your gut is what we say. But that's what it is. It's the energy, it's the frequency, it's your gifting that's pointing you in that direction. Because some people may say, oh, it's not logical, it doesn't make sense. Who gave you that vision? Who said you're psychic? How did you see that thing? How did you hear that plant? And it's like,
we're here to say that's normal.
Yeah, it's normal. It's normal. Like, how did you talk to the animals? Like, this is new.
Yep. You'll find things like people that know me like are used to things, but I'll just be walking somewhere and then like, whoa, and I almost run into somebody, but it's a spirit. Like I do that in public. Like so you just gotta like embrace everything that you are and just roll with it because that's who you are. And just be okay with it. And if people look at you funny and like, what the heck is wrong with her? Just like it is what it is.
Any final words you want to share with us, Janelle, Misty, before we close out?
It was an honor to be here with you all. It was amazing to meet you, Dusty, Maya, Olivia, Stephanie, and Pamela, and others that were here and are going to join us on the recording. It was an honor to be here with you, and I hope Ben's guidance is just going to bring you in and what the information that you were needing to hear for the moment and the step that you're in.
Yeah. Yes. Beautiful. That's all. As they say on that, what was that show? That's all, folks. Bugs Bunny. I don't know why that came.
I love that.
That's
Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny.
Well, so yeah, there we go.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Bye, Dusty.
Dusty. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, Pamela, Maya.
Y'all have a great one. Okay. Peace. Bye.
That's all, folks. What is that from? Now that's killing me. What's that from?
That's Bugs Bunny.
Oh, it is Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, it's Bugs Bunny. Yeah, yeah.
All right, Glue, you did good.
Okay. All right. Bye, y'all.